The Hunting Wives on Netflix was completely unhinged. I never saw a show like this in my life. It was so sleazy, raunchy, racy, so sexual, right? This show, I can't even believe that Netflix aired it. It should have been on like HBO or Showtime. But I want to tell you, in this video, at the beginning, there will be no spoilers. I'll just give you my spoiler-free review. And then I want to get into some things, guys. I want to talk about the 5 most absurd scenes in this series. Some scenes that made me gag, that literally made me hold my breath, okay? But at the beginning, again, no spoilers. But before I get into my review, let me introduce myself. My name is Brandy, and I realize that you could be on any channel in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really do appreciate that. So go ahead and like this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you do like watching TV show reviews and also movie reviews. Now let me start off with the premise of the show. The Hunting Wives on Netflix is a soapy, steamy murder mystery series based on May Cobb's novel, following Sophie, who moves from Boston to Texas and gets drawn into a dangerous world of secrets and seduction with a group of wealthy women. The show explores themes of obsession, betrayal, and ultimately murder. And let me tell you, I almost didn't watch this series. I thought it was some kind of show about wives of hunters or something like that. But Netflix kept recommending this show to me, and I'm glad that they did, because I rate this series a solid 9 over 10. It kept me on the edge of my seat all 8 episodes. In fact, I cannot wait until season 2. Now, let me tell you what I loved about this series. First of all, the performances. The acting was top tier. This series starred Brittany as Sophie and Malin Ackerman as Margot. And Margot was so manipulative. Margot was a piece of work, y'all. She was so fun to watch in this series. If it was not for the acting in this series, they could have never pulled off this script. And that leads me to the writing. This script felt pretty original to me. Now, it did give me vibes of, like, let's say Big Little Lies or maybe Dead to Me. That was on Netflix before too. But overall, this was a pretty original series, okay? Every episode just got more crazy and more over the top. It was just so trashy and so fun. And the main premise of the show, it was a murder mystery, okay? I don't want to tell you who died, and I definitely don't want to tell you who the killer was, okay? But it wasn't just your regular murder mystery show, and everybody looked like a suspect. That's what I especially love, because it was hard to predict who was actually the killer. Now, what I didn't like about this series, there were almost too many sex scenes for me, okay? A lot of girl-on-girl action, a lot of different things that we're going to talk about, okay? But too sexual at times, too over the top. And I also, surprisingly, didn't like any of the characters. I really didn't. Like, the only characters I really liked were Detective Salazar and Margot's brother, Kyle. I really liked his character too, but I'm so shocked that this series was able to pull off characters that were so unlikable, but you still love the show. The wigs. Margot's wig was just terrible in this series. Why did they put that wig on Margot, y'all? Lastly, what I didn't like about this show is it really gives Texas a bad rap. I don't live in Texas, but we have family there, and I'm like, dang, I'm looking at Texas sideways now, right? With all of the gun talk, all of the political talk, the things that they were doing. Everybody needs to be in jail on this show. Like, almost everybody. All right, so now we're going to get into spoilers, guys. So now's your time to click off the video if you have not watch The Hunting Wives on Netflix, okay? I want to talk about 5 scenes that really gagged me, y'all. Like, I think these 5 scenes are so memorable in a raunchy, racy kind of way, but it just, I don't know how I feel about it, right? But the first scene, right? I don't know if you guys peeped this, though, but Jill, you know, Jill and her son had a very weird relationship this whole series, right? Well, she actually had a weird obsession with her son. But did you notice when she was breastfeeding her son as a newborn, she seemed turned on by breastfeeding her son, okay? Like, that is so weird to me, right? As a mom who has breastfed her children, I don't think you ever get those feelings, right? When the breast milk is let down, I never got the feeling of being like, turned on. But in this show, she actually did. And I never heard of anything like that. I never saw anything like that in my life. And that scene just tracks with the way that Jill was in this entire series with her son, right? The way she handed her son a towel when he was getting out the shower, but she looked him over. And also the way she kissed him on the lips one time after they were having dinner, okay? Again, Jill was just so obsessed with her teenage son. She was so much so obsessed. I would have loved to see in this series if Jill would have found out that Margot was actually sleeping with her son. I wonder what Jill would have done to Margot. Now that I would love to see. Now the second scene that was so weird, awkward, over the top for me was when Margot, she walked in on Brad and Abby. And they had just got done making out. Abby was praying, right? But Brad was actually taking care of himself, right? And Margot, she was watching him intently, right? And at this point in the series, again, episode 1, this was, we did not know that they were already sleeping together, all right? So it was so weird to just see Margot watch one of her best friend's sons actually like doing the do to himself. I'm like, oh my God, that was so over the top for me. I told you, a lot of these women on this show really needed to be in jail. Now let's talk about Kyle's absurd scene, right? Now Kyle was my boy in this series. Kyle was Margot's crackhead brother, right? when Sophie popped up on Kyle and he opened the door when he's jangling out, oh my God, Kyle. Oh my God, I gagged just by seeing that, right? That scene was so absurd, funny, over the top, trashy, sleazy, and I loved every moment of it. And the fifth scene, oh my God, y'all know what it is. Episode 7, when the sheriff's wife was pegging him, right? I didn't know what was going on at first until I saw the pink dildo. I did not know what was happening. I'm like, oh my God. I don't think I've ever seen that in the show. And for them to get this guy to play the sheriff, right? He was big, strong. He was a handsome guy, actually. And for him to be bisexual and his wife performs that act on him, that really was just mind-blowing to me, okay? So those were the 5 most outlandish scenes that I remember. Comment down below and let me know if you saw any scenes that were even more outlandish than the ones that I named, okay? But also, I'm going to talk to you about something else that I kept thinking about after watching this series, right? Graham. It's been a lot of chit chatter about Graham and Sophie, and everybody seems to hate Graham, right? But in my opinion, I mean, I don't like Sophie more than I don't like Graham, right? But I was conflicted when Graham kicked her out of the house. Remember when he found out that she bought the gun without him knowing, and then she actually had the gun in their house where they have a 7-year-old son, and Graham was pissed off and he kicked her out. After being arrested, I actually think that's the point that he kicked her out, right? But let me tell you something. I had mixed feelings about that. Like, I like that he stood on business because Sophie actually was acting like a dummy. She was spiraling out of control. She was not being a good mom. She was not being a good wife. So I felt him, right? He was just trying to protect his kid and probably protect himself and distance himself from her too, because at that point she was looking like a criminal. But I just had mixed feelings about that. Like, I like that he kicked her out a little bit, but I wish he just would have let her come back home the next day, right? I'm not sure how many days she was at that hotel, but it looks like she was there for a hot minute, right? But Graham, you could have just kicked her out maybe one night just to put your foot down. But dang, like, I feel like she needed him in that moment and he wasn't really there for her, okay? But also her having that time alone in a hotel, in a motel actually, right? Because she was in a crappy motel. That actually gave her time to actually crack the case and figure out the entire murder mystery, okay? And again, I don't want to talk too much about the murder mystery and mention any names, but I do want to ask you this, and comment down below, let me know. Did you think that the killer was who it was? Like, I honestly did not see that coming. Although I should have known by the way things were set up that it had to be somebody that was nearby or close to Sophie's gun, right? I should have known that, but I did not anticipate that the killer was who it was, all right? And that was just something else that made this series really good to me because I did not see that coming. Now, the last thing we should talk about is that cliffhanger at the end. Oh my God. I didn't want to see him go. I did not. Again, he's one of the characters that I like, right? But is he really gone or is he going to wake up? Like, what's going to happen with that cliffhanger? Because I know we're going to get a season 2. We are going to get a season 2 of this series. Right? We have to. But what is Margot going to do when she finds out what Sophie did at the end of the series, right? Oh my gosh, she is going to handle Sophie, okay? But nonetheless, guys, this was such a good series. Again, one of the series where you don't think you will like it. You don't even want to click on it. Like, based on the thumbnail, based on the description, I'm like, I didn't want to watch this, but I end up watching it, and it was such a good, trashy summer binge that, again, just unexpectedly, I liked it, all right? So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What's your rating of the show? And also let me know what other shows you're watching, all right? And again, if you do enjoy watching TV shows and movie reviews, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.